Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. Today is a 1 vs 1 on Dusk Towers between our red Zerg player, daydrA, and up top we have our blue Terran player, PureLegacy, and we're going to speed this up to the 2-minute mark. That's when all the good stuff starts to happen. Otherwise, we're just going to be watching SCVs, building barracks, and refineries for a long time. It's a slightly early gas here for the human player. And now getting that command center for his first expansion for the Zerg going up as well. Quite a bit faster than the Terran as usual, and we'll see if the Zerg decides to get a second expansion right off the bat, or if he's actually going to do any kind of rush play. Has a few Zerglings out, 2 queens so far, and we have another command center, or nope, just a first command center in production there, and a Reaper down at the Zerg base here, trying to get some kills. And we'll check the units lost tab. So far, lost 1 Zergling, and a total of 25 resources lost there for the Zerg. An irreparable loss of Zerg life, and still 3 Zerglings to go. And now coming back on in for Legacy, trying to get another Zergling kill. 1 more hit, and there is another Zergling kill there. And D8 charge chucks a drone. It doesn't do too much though. And it's going to remain alive for a little while longer. Could keep harassing a little bit here, but the queen is now definitely ready for the harass. There's a second queen here, so now it's going to make it double hard to get around this. These 2 queens here moving the creep forward a little bit. That D8 charge landed directly under that queen there and chucked her pretty good. And now the second expansion for the Zerg coming up. Unit so far, we have 2 Hellions, that Reaper, a Marine, to just 4 Zerglings, and the Zerg just trying to get out of those 2 expansions right now, so they have plenty of larvae to work with. And the factory's pumping out Hellions right now for the Terran player. And random Marines popping out from the single barracks with the tech lab, and do have stim packs on the way. We also have a Liberator on the way as well, pretty much the AKA Valkyrie. I wish they would have just added the Valkyrie. That would have been a lot easier. Although unfortunately in StarCraft 1 the Valkyrie was good, but sort of sucked in big team games because the sprite limit, you wouldn't be able to fire the rockets if the sprite limit was maxed, so they were completely useless in a major game like a 4 vs 4. Total big game hunters. We have an Overlord up here moving through the human base. Looks like he's going to be a sacrificial Overlord to see what is going on in the human base here. And this is what he saw. He saw a command center coming up. But other than that, didn't see, well, actually pretty much seen everything. So not other than that. Now the Queen's here under harassment from the Hellions. And there's quite a bit of Hellions and that Reaper mixed in. It's quite a deadly combination there to anything light. The Reaper falls, though, doesn't get out quite in time. And we do have Roaches here, a pretty wise decision to deal with those Hellions. And that second command center coming up here. And we'll start pumping out SCVs, I believe. Looks like he has it on rally point to his expansion here. It's already fully saturated, so he'll probably just have to lift this off and slap it over here. We do have a barracks here that took control of this reactor, now building on that. Now going to take this factory here and put another barracks, by the looks of it, on this reactor. And we have a reactor coming here and possibly pumping out dual medevacs there. And down at the bottom, Hellions cruising around, trying to get some harassment done, but these Roaches going to give it a hard time there. And where is that Liberator? Hanging out behind the Zerg base here and moving up a Spore Crawler now, and this Liberator's got to watch out. He may actually lose this if he's not paying attention here, and then he goes flying off now. The Liberator torched a drone there. That was pretty interesting, and the Hellions still hanging out here, and they're not going to be too useful. He's going to have to definitely transition away from these Hellions. Probably just going to have to sacrifice and try and get some kills with them now. And this Liberator right now is doing huge work on those drones. And now backs off once again. And it just torches drones one at a time. I think it does, I believe the Liberator does 80 ground damage. It cannot move in that form, so it basically just has to sit there and torch drones, but it has a pretty good attack rate, and it just one-shots them, so it's not too bad in terms of a harassment unit. Oh, I suppose it's almost the equivalent of an Oracle in terms of how fast it kills things. Except the Oracle has to hold on to it for just a split second and then it dies, whereas the Liberator there just kind of blasts them one at a time. Overseer on the map here, looking for an expansion or whatnot. The expansion up here, seeing if there's any kind of proxy play or medevacs cruising through the air. And Liberator still going strong here, and now medevacs completely filled up. He's wisely going to go down the center, as there's overlords here on the right side. They would have definitely caught this and would have just pretty much destroyed his push instantly just via intel. And here comes the two medevacs here, and I think it's a little bit of an early afterburner there. Probably should have saved that just a little bit longer. See, the afterburner just now took off. See, if you would have afterburned, could have gotten in there a little bit further. Decided to drop right here away from the Spore Crawler, and so far so good. All these overlords are just all on top of each other, just getting molested there. And lots of units lost now for these are 2,850 to 218. PureLegacy right now doing huge work on daydrA. And now just going to back out of here. And so many overlords were lost. A lot of larvae are going to have to be replaced here with overlords. And so that's going to slow down everything in terms of building drones, in terms of building actual units. So that was definitely a devastating drop. Now, whoa, we have a Nidus Worm up here. I did not notice this Nidus Worm here. The sensor tower here should have spotted this, and he is defending it vigorously here, but this Nidus Worm was well placed, and now daydrA has to GG, so that was a very quick game, but it was a very fun game to watch indeed, with the Liberator there blasting away drones. A Nidus Worm, you don't see that every day, so that was a pretty good try there, and all the overlords stacked on each other like that right there at the edge was just not a good idea, and he lost. That was probably that was like 8 overlords. I don't even know how many that was. That was a lot, and but I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I'll see you guys next time.